Neon edge nails are super, super hot and fly. Greg's gonna show you how to do it using an e-file, no painting at all, right now.
I've been seeing a lot of window frame or square borders around the tip of nails. You could paint it in, but I'm gonna show you how to build the nail and cut the perfect border. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and build a really nice free edge so it gives me a great shape to overlay. So once the free edge is built, let's go ahead and overlay it so that we have great structure. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and let this dry. We're gonna file this into perfection, and then we're going to start our cut. I have filed and finished the nail. So now what we want to be able to do is we want to be able to make our straight cuts. I'm going to be using the Young Nails X Cut, which has a sharp edge to cut in perfectly straight lines. Okay, so what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to mark this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a pen or a pencil. I'm just going to notch in basically all the way across to make sure that my points match. All right, so I just need to make sure I have a couple of guidelines to work off of. So now what we want to be able to do is we want to be able to use the X cut. Now this is really important when you're making the cut. If I'm coming down this side right here, I have to go in one direction all the way through. You have to be very careful that you don't go all the way through the edge, or you're gonna have to put a form on to resculpt it. All I am trying to do is cut in a tight line. So I have my electric file around 8,000 RPMs. I'm going to start from this side right here. And what I'm going to do is make sure that I'm running my barrel all the way down, right? So I'm just cutting a nice line, thinning this out. Okay. So as you can see, cutting a trench from this corner down to the tip of the nail. If you're probably wondering why I didn't build the nail and then put in my color, it's because it's very hard to judge while you're sculpting what the perfect shape is going to be. If I build the perfect shape and cut it in, I don't have to remove that much. All I have to do is cut in the perfect trench and fill it in with color. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to come across the tip. All right, so all I have to do is just make sure that we're just going to cut straight across in one direction. Again, I need to make sure that I do not cut all the way through. As you can see, I've trenched that in. Now, the last cut, we have to be really, really careful because I'm going against the grain. I have to make sure that I'm riding zone 1 of my barrel. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a shallow cut all the way down to that dot that I made. As you can see, the nice thin shallow cut that I made. After we're done making the cut, what I'm going to do is use my hand file and just run it along the edges, just to make sure that everything is absolutely perfect. Let's go ahead, clean this up. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a really bright color. This is Cinnabar from the Slickpour collection. Go ahead and dust the surface. What I'm going to do is apply a little bit of protein bond along those edges, just in case anything is too smooth. So what we want to do, we want to make sure that we don't overload the surface. I'm going to take a really, really small amount. I need to make sure that I'm walking it into those grooves. Again, you can pick up multiple pearls and just make sure that we're filling in the grooves. And just from the surface, all I want to do is tap it all the way to the top. If it gets on the surface of the nail, it's not a big deal because you're going to be able to lightly file that away. Again, going through, just adding a little bit more. I'd rather add a little bit more to the edges to make sure that I have a fully filled out channel. All right. Once that dries, we're going to lightly buff this into shape, put the top coat on, and we're done. So the edge is completely dry. The best part about this is I do not need to do heavy filing because the shape is already here. Check this out. Just going over the surface to make sure that everything is nice and tight. I'm going to lightly file my edges. All right. Let's go ahead and turn this around. At this point, all I'm going to do is just use my hand file and lightly go over the surface to make sure that everything is nice and even. All right. Let's go ahead and wipe this off. You can see I have really, really sharp borders. Let's go ahead and put Protein Bond on our gel top coat, and we'll get this nice and shiny.
Thank you so much for watching our nail videos. To check out more, head right over here, and to subscribe to our channel, click right over here.